YouTube, welcome back to another card showcase. A fan favorite, an old school classic. He's here once again. Who is it? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he's back.
Aleister 投资者手扛手感把橘子太会能酷诶阿鲁对面锁领空手感美鲁卡巴下到了 fusion 的内皮里面空投落让的手在你那里下到入口波及的开始米多拉修
I don't think we're going to be summoning Midorashu with this new support, but let's take a look. Let's begin. There's a ton of them, by the way. I mean, just like mathematically, this deck has to be good, right? I mean, you just throw this many cards at a deck, it has to become meta, right? Right? As I've seen a lot of cluelesses right now. Alright, here we go. Aleister the Reminiscent, level 4 Dark Spellcaster, 1810 defense, same stats as the boy. Actually, no, it's in reverse, isn't it? Yeah, it's in reverse. Ooh. You can only use the first and second effect of this card name each once per turn. If this is in your hand, you can target a Spellcaster or a Fusion, special this, and the monster gains 1,000. Spellcaster Slop Extender. This has to be good. As long as this on-summon effect is even remotely playable, this has to go hard. This is normal specialed or flipped. Banish and invoked from the extra deck and add an invocation or a spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. I mean, that's crazy, right? Is there any benefit to banishing invokes from the extra? I feel like... Does Oggy's have a banish effect? I think there's like one with like a banish effect. Sending to the graveyard would have been incredible, but I don't, you know. Yes, clueless. Okay, I guess maybe they made one. I was just thinking, you know, if any of the original ones had an effect like that, but I guess the original ones don't. Okay, so we got Iwas, the Spirit of the Law. One should follow the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. That's what judges like to say as they issue you a penalty and a game loss for not wearing deodorant this morning. Iwas. 2028. You can use first and second effect each once per turn. I think this is the same stats as Oggy's, right? I'm sure there's some lower implications there. Banish this from your hand or field and add an Aleister monster from deck to hand. And this effect was activated on the field immediately after it resolves. You can normal summon a spellcaster. Alright. Extra normal summon of Aleister, who is not once per turn, by the way. Is this guy once per turn? This one is once per turn. The OG Aleister isn't once per turn. So I assume you're still probably going to want to play it. Getting this guy onto the field doesn't seem possible yet, but let's keep reading. If a face-up fusion is sent to the grave except by battle while this is in your grave, special this, and then you can fusion and invoke using monsters from your hand or field as material. Okay. I don't see direct synergy between this and this just yet, but maybe it'll tie in here. Virakam, the Artificial Spirit, level 3 Light Illusion. Artwork, dude. It's freaking artwork. You can use the first and second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you have an Aleister monster in your field or graveyard, that includes like the Magistus one as well, I believe. Just an Aleister monster. Special this from your hand. If this is special, you can set invocation or a spell that mentions it from your deck. That's really good. You guys were saying clueless when I said that surely if you put this many cards on a new archetype, it's going to be... It has to be good. This is good, I think, right? Right? Activating Invocation in 2026. That has to be good, right, guys? When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your fusion monster's effect, banish this from the field, and if you do negate that opponent's effect, and if you do banish that card. This is really good. Like, this is really good. So, if they respond to, like, your Mechaba... If they respond to your Oggy's, you can just banish this to negate and banish. That's crazy. Yo, this card's sick. Does he know? Wait, do I know what? What do I know? What's going on? Is there something spicy about to happen here? We've got Invoked Sorath. Level 6 Light Pyro. 1626, an Aleister monster plus a fire or wind. Oh wow, we can just use any attribute now. Fire, wind, light, earth, dark, water. And then different attributes. Okay, so these are just like the impulse and purge like pairings and stuff, basically. Close enough, you know. Anyway. Okay, Sorath here is quick effect main phase. Target level 6 or lower monster in either grave and special to your field and defense, but its effects are negated. So this is really good for just grave disruption. That's pretty decent. If this is in your grave, you can fusion summon an invoked monster from your extra by banishing its materials from your field and or graveyard, including this card in the graveyard. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right. So I assume you want to like maybe link this off for like Madness Aleister, and then banish this from the grave, and then perform a Miracle Fusion, and then summon the fusion to the zone, and then Aleister like triggers and does something like this. This is good. We got Invoked Babylon, not Babylon, like Baba. Aleister monster plus Lightning Earth. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. If this is specialed, add Viracam the Artificial Spirit or magic name Rosamundi from your deck to your hand. Magic name Rosamundi. Who? Spirit Sword, magical name. Oh, okay. It's the trap card. I see. All right. Then banish a monster from either graveyard. Banish this from your grave and then target a fusion. You control all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to that monster's until the end of this turn. Dude, that is crazy. Because you can, like, make this, drop all of their attack, and then fuse it with Invocation by banishing it because it's fire for Purgatrio, I think is the name? And then Purgatrio can attack all their monsters who are now at 0 attack. That's pretty crazy. And then we've got Invoked Okeanos, a sea serpent. Aleister in a dark or a water. You can only use the third effect once per turn. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks while this is in the main monster zone except this one. Any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished while this is in the extra monster zone. Wait, what? Any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead while this is in the EMZ. Oh my god, dude. They just made a freaking Dark Law. Who asked for this, man? Come on. We almost had cool support. It's one-sided as well, yeah. Banish this card from your grave and target a fusion controller can attack directly. Alright, awesome. Dude! I don't know, man. I think just by virtue of this card existing, it might actually make this deck, like, a serious contender in a metagame. Like, that is so unbelievably broken. Oi, oi, oi. Invoked Transcendence Eon. 38, 32, level 10, Dark Fiend, 2+ fusions with different attributes. This is really easy to summon. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this name per turn and only once that turn. If it's fusion summoned, banish cards from the field and or graveyards up to the number of materials used. So 2 minimum. If you use 3 or more, look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 cards from it. So if you use 3 fusions to summon this, you banish 3 of their cards without targeting or grave, and you rip 3 cards out the extra deck. I feel like if you just summon this turn 1, it could actually just win the game. Because I was thinking like, oh yeah, this is like a go second tool. Because you can just like, you know, banish a field and then, you know, get rid of problem cards, then attack with this big Chungus. But like, 3 is like a crazy number because cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are limited to 3. So if you just rip 3 extra deck cards, depending on the deck, like they can just like lose on the spot. That's insane. Quick effect, declare an attribute. All other face-up monsters you currently control in the field become that attribute till the end of this turn. Okay, nice Fiendsmith deck, I guess. You have been promoted to Wind. Alright, there's a new invocation card called Sword. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn, which this is searchable with Mother over here. Set invocation or a spell that mentions it. I guess he searches it as well, right? Add invocation or a spell that mentions it. Aleister the Reminiscent. Fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters you control. If summoning an Invoked, you could also use banish monsters by returning them to the graveyard. That's so busted. Holy crap, that is unreal. So, like, you see what the combo is, right? Like, OG Aleister gets banished when you fuse it with Invocation. The new Aleister banishes a guy from your extra deck. And then this guy just puts them back in the graveyard. And then this guy can then use those monsters that you just put back in the graveyard, this one, to then use them for fusion material. It's just free materials. That's so broken. This card is wacky. This card is custom. Spirit Sword Iwas. Normal spell card. You can activate one card with this name. Activate one of its effects. You cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with fusions. Special Iwas, Spirit of the Law from the deck or grave. Oh, okay. They just gave it a E-telly. Send to the grave or banish an Aleister monster from deck. Send to the grave or banish an Aleister monster. Is this good to send to the grave? Card is in your hand. I mean, I guess. Look at 3 random face down cards you put as extra deck and banish one of them. Can we stop, like, making this, like, a standard part of gameplay? Like, I think it's really toxic. I really do think it's toxic. Getting rid of extra deck cards, I think, is genuinely really messed up. Oh, man, I don't know. Not a fan of that. It's a crazy card, though. And then here's the trap card that is searchable. Rosamundi, normal trap, close the first second effect once per turn. Banish an Aleister or monster or fusion from your grave. Special and invoked from the extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions, but banish it during the end phase. Special summon. Okay, is that good? You can special summon this, and then he can perform a fusion summon. Summoning this isn't very good because it needs to be fusion summoned. Although you can just use the attribute effect, that could be busted depending on the situation. Kalaga's broken, yeah, that card like is a floodgate. I think you can summon this guy, right? Okeanos, and then you can just like Dark Claw your opponent. Dude, this deck is good, right? Am I going insane? This has to be a good deck. Oh shit, Artemis art, all art. That's wacky. All right, let's take a look at some combos and then read the comment section.
Summon Aleister the Reminiscent and activate.
Shoutouts to Metrics. I saw this on YouTube.
Effect. Banish Raijin to add Invocation Sword from your deck. Activate Invocation Sword to use Aleister and your banished Raijin as material. Summon Soulwrath. Shuffle Sword back into your deck to add Aleister back to your hand. Activate the effect of Aleister in your hand and target Soulwrath. Now summon Aleister from your hand. Now link summon into Aleister the Invoker of Madness. Activate the effect of Soulwrath and banish this card from the grave along with Aleister. Now fusion summon Babylon. 2 effects are going to activate here. Babylon, add Vikarum to your hand. Now discard a card to add Book of the Law from your deck to your hand off the effect of Aleister. Summon Vikarum from your hand and activate the effect. Set Sword from your deck into your spell and trap zone. Activate Book of the Law by triggering Babylon. Now here you can either summon Macabre or Agoides. I'm gonna summon Agoides, but you can summon whichever one you want. Now you're gonna activate the effect of Aleister again because it's not once per turn. Discard a card to add Invocation. Now you're gonna activate Invocation here. I'm gonna summon Okeanos because this card is a one-sided Macrocosmos. Now I'm gonna activate the effect of Agoides to banish Babylon. Now on the opponent's turn, activate Sword. Return the 3 banished fusions in your grave to summon Eon. Now you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent could in their grave. But now you get to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish 3 cards. Pretty good if you ask me.
3 extra deck reps, Macrocosmos. 1 card combo? Couple of discards, I guess. God damn. That is crazy. Absolutely ludicrous. All right, here we go. Let's see here. We've got an Iwas line here. So this is Iwas by special summon from your deck. Yep, just special summon from the deck. And then on summon, banish to add Aleister, then immediately normal summon. Aleister, add Invocation. Link Shokan into Artemis. Banish Light in the Dark for Babylon. Babylon is going to add Virakam. Activate the Invocation. Recycle, add back the Aleister. Use your actual normal summon on the Aleister. Aleister, search Invocation. Link those for Aleister the Madness Invoker. Banish Light in the Dark for Soulwrath. Madness discards a card to add the Book of the Law. Then we are going to use Virakam, special summon, setting Sword from deck, activate Book of the Law, tribute off the Soulwrath for Kalaga, Soulwrath in the graveyard, banish itself plus Madness to go into Okeanos, pass turn, so you have, your opponent can only activate 1 monster effect and attack with 1 monster, and we've got the sword set in the graveyard here. Go main phase, you've got Sword here that can return 2 fusions to summon out the Transcendence Eon. You could also use any fusion on the field in case you don't need a certain floodgate. So if you're, I mean, you'd probably want to do that, but 1 card combo, you still get the Eon triple banish. You don't get the extra deck rip. But if you do want to sacrifice one of your floodgates, you can rip 3 cards out the extra deck as well. And then quick effect, if your opponent responds to anything you just did, you have Viracram on the field, which can negate and banish the thing that's responding. So, that is disgusting. Alright, here's another line here. We've got Spirit Sword for Iwas into Reminiscent. Reminiscent, banish Sorath, add Sword. Activate Sword, return into Babylon. Babylon's gonna go for Viracram. Viracram's special summon, that is going to set another sword. Sword in the graveyard, recycle, add back Aleister to the hand. Aleister hand effect, special summon, increase, go for Madness. Sorath in the graveyard, I think Babylon in the graveyard, perform a fusion summon, go into Babylon. Discard a card, add Book of the Law, and activate Book of the Law on your opponent's turn to go into Invoked Magistus Omega. Target a Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link in your graveyard. 1 monster on the field, banish them. So banish a card on the field. Viracram can chain to negate if they try and stop that. And then on resolution, you can go Invoke Sword using the 3 materials. You can go into Eon. Eon, banish 3 cards, rip 3 extra deck cards. 1.5 card combo. Sheesh! Okay, 2 card combo here. What happens if you draw both the brothers? Alright, shoutouts to Bubble for this one. Alright, we've got normal summon Aleister. What, we just didn't use the effect. Okay, pretend we got negated, smile. Aleister is going to send Ogades. Add the invocation. Oh. Good combo. Alright, let's read some comments. I don't like how Eon was designed. The generic material means any fusion spam deck like Branded or Dragontail easily makes it to rip 3 cards from the extra deck. And at worst, double banish, which makes it a better Guardian Chimera. That's toxic. At the same time, it's frustrating cards to deal with in a mirror match, especially with Super Poly. Both counter each other, which is hilarious. I think it's harder to make than you are giving it credit for those decks. Branded is mostly light and dark, so Pure wouldn't be able to use 3 attributes. And an Albion Lebellion can't make a 10. It would have to be made with Cartesia or Spell Trap is a bigger commitment. Which is why Lad isn't played. And it's also not a Dragon or Spellcaster, so Dragontail can't make... Dracotail can't make it with 5 mana or Ketu. They have to hard make it with Poly or actually play an Aleister package. God forbid we play Aleister cards in the Aleister deck. These are awesome, but the banish from the opponent's extra deck trend is kinda stupid. Unless it's a decision by design to force people to play more pure decks with multiple copies instead of 15 one-off slop extra deck cards, who knows what they are thinking. It's Konami, they don't. They definitely do. That's why they printed some main deck focused archetypes recently. Look at how much they vomited out Thunder support for Blitzkrieg. I personally think that's what extra deck banish is supposed to do. Combo slop decks would die if a major piece was removed or if a major player in the deck was removed, like in K9 or Dracotail. But it's only fair if it's only 1 banish. Banishing 3 is way too much. Dude, it's crazy. Like, just banish, like, 1 or 2 Rippers, and then, like, Rock of the Vanquisher, which is usually, what, like a 2-off? Do they play 3 Rock? They probably have space for 3 Rock. You could just banish 3 Rock, you know? There's, like, really game-winning stuff you can do with 3 extra deck banishes. 3 things. Everything was looking great until that Sea Serpent Floodgate. Magistus Spenta combo into Crowley now has a lot more teeth. Extra deck, win. Invoke Darklaw sure is going to be a fun card. Special summon Aleister. Alright, YouTube, thanks for watching. Enjoyed today's card showcase. Normal summon Aleister is back once again.
将类似听你阿雷斯托苏就手看手感吧只是忒粉的酷味阿鲁忒米斯林酷手看没路卡吧下到了 fusion 的内皮里面空投罗乱的手在你那里下到路口波起的开始明日都来袭贫穷的
I forgot he did that.